to another episode of Successful Marketing, Sales, and Relationships for adult small business owners and entrepreneurs. And I am your host, best-selling author SaDon L. And we are getting closer and closer to Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. So we are starting to move into the peak season of gift buying. And my question to you at home is, are you ready? Are you ready to serve your customers? Have you gotten enough product? Do people know what you got going on? Are they knowing when your sale starts? Are they knowing that you only have a limited amount? Are they knowing what the special things that you're offering are? Because there's only so much time left, and they need to know that, hey, man, the opportunity to get me to deliver it directly to your house is dwindling fast. The opportunity for you to get it before you go on, your trip and have it in your suitcase to give to mom or dad is dwindling fast. So my question to you right now, if today was Christmas, how would you feel about what you've done for the last 4 or 5 weeks? One more time. If today was Christmas Eve, how would you feel about how you've been moving for the last 4 or 5 weeks? How would you feel about the way that you promoted? How would you feel about the way that you prospected? How would you feel about the way that you've reached out to customers through email, through DM, through phone calls? How would you feel about the way your website looks? As a matter of fact, let's put it on a scale of 1 to 10 and leave out 7. Anything less than an 8, thank God, you still have time. So again, the question would be, if this was Christmas Eve, how would I feel about how I've been moving the last 5 or 6 weeks? And thank God you have time to correct whatever it is that you feel that you haven't done well enough. Because again, this is a huge opportunity. This is the only time during the year where literally the whole world is buying. Where people are buying gifts for coworkers. Really? Coworkers? People in your cubicles next to you, you got to get them a gift? This is the time where people are buying gifts for people they haven't talked to all year. But they're going home for Thanksgiving or they're going home for Christmas, so they want to make sure they get grandma something nice. This is the time of year where people buy gifts for their book club. Where people buy gifts for their, lodge members. Where people buy gifts, for the people they're in these organizations with, whether it be sororities or fraternities or Masons or Eastern Stars. This is a time where people are buying. So what does that mean for you? It means that this is a chance for you to really take advantage of the opportunity. This is a time for you to be able to put yourself in a better position with your family. This is the time for you to put your bank account in a better situation. This is the time for you to get the money you need to last you through some of these months that are coming ahead, where the gas to heat your business is a little bit higher. Imagine what's going to happen when now you have to have the heat on. If you live in the Midwest, for example. What's going to happen when you have to have that heat on? And people are coming in and out, letting the heat out. If you have a brick and mortar. And if you're already struggling right now to do 3 or 4, 2 or 5, 9 or 10, or whatever you need to do, which you should know what you need to do. If you're already struggling right now, what's going to happen when the gas bill goes up another $200? Do you have another $200 to add to what you're doing? Because if you're taking it out of paychecks, or you're taking it out of your savings, or you're taking it out of your 401k, how are you going to get that money back? So this is a huge opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to cover those bills, not only in the short term, but maybe for the next few months. And imagine if you were doing what we tell you to do, which is get customers in, and then keep the customer, and make sure that you get them to give you their friends. Imagine if you were doing that. So Carol came in, Carol bought from you. You're like, well, Carol, we got some other stuff It's only a little bit left. But if you want to take some of those, you know, it's only going to cost you this. So now Carol's like, yeah, I like those, and there's only a few left. Yeah, there's only a few left. Okay, well, give me those two. So now Carol got upsold. Now you got Carol's information, so if something else comes in, you can call her. And you said, hey, well, Carol, do you know anybody else? Because we got some other sizes. We got some other colors. And Carol says, well, I'm gonna call my grandma. So now Carol done brought grandma down. And guess what? Grandma done brought two of her friends. So now you turn one sale into four. Plus that first sale has given you another sale. So actually, it's five sales. How far would that take you? How much would that help you? But if you don't do something about it now, the opportunity to turn one into five is going to go away. Because we are very, very close. Today is the 20th, 21st maybe? Yeah, 21st. So it means we have like 60 days till Christmas. I'm just guessing. So if you don't take advantage of the opportunity now, when's it coming again? Valentine's Day, sweetest day, nothing like Christmas, Kwanzaa, and Hanukkah. And if you're a business, that's the entertainment, variety. This is the time to be promoting your New Year's Eve. This is the time to be promoting, your tailgate parties. This is the time to be promoting, all of those things. Because once people have spent their money and once New Year's Eve is over, what are you going to sell them then? Will they even have any money then? You have to take advantage of the opportunity that you have in front of you. And that opportunity right now is that the whole world is buying. Again, they're buying for coworkers, they're buying for neighbors, they're buying for people in book clubs and sororities and fraternities. They're buying for people that they're going home to visit. And maybe in your particular household, they don't move like that. But you're not worried about what's happening in your household. You're worried about what's happening with your customers. I'm going to repeat that. You're not worrying about what's happening in your household. You're worried about what's happening with your customers. You can do a whole lot of business just meeting the needs of your customers. Giving your customers an opportunity to buy early, giving your customers the opportunity to buy items that everybody else isn't seeing, getting custom stuff. Because if you give them these opportunities, now you get to attach scarcity to it. I only have so many of these, and I held them back. So either you're going to get it today or I'm going to put them on the floor. I come from retail, and I had certain women who would come in because their feet were a little larger, their feet were a little wider, and maybe on a particular day I would have 4 different styles, but I only have 1 or 2 of them. And I would say, well, if you come in today, I'll put them in the back, and I won't let anybody know I got them. Those women would get off work, make a beeline to the store, and they buy them. I wouldn't have to do anything other than say, hey, I got them, and I'm going to hold them until you get here. And if they were like, I don't know, maybe I can't come today. Hey, well, I got to sell them. So if somebody comes in and asks for them, I'm going to bring them out. No problem, on my way. Easy conversation. I got what you want. I'm going to set it to the side. I only got a few. But if you don't come today, I'm going to put them on the floor. That simple. And you're like, well, I don't do that kind of work. Okay, well, for people who don't do that kind of work, hey, the closer we get to the holidays, the harder it's going to be for me to help you. Okay? Right now, I have time set aside to help you reach your goal, but I'm going to unbook these appointments and let other people know that these times are available if you don't use them. Same thing. You know, one is a product, the other one is your time. But your time is probably more valuable than the product because theoretically you could find the product somewhere else. But where are they going to find another you? You know, where are they going to find another me? Okay. So if you don't take advantage of the opportunity to work with me right now, when are you going to get another opportunity? You know, to work with a best-selling author, to work with a business coach, who works with some of the most successful people in the country and who's, by their own admission, played a key role in them moving their businesses forward. How many people can you say that you really worked with as an award-winning sales trainer, record-setting recruiter? When's the last time somebody who was a best-selling author, whose work has generated millions of dollars, sat down with you? And if you don't take the opportunity to sit down with me today, what makes you think I'm going to give you a second chance? What makes you think that I would want to give you a second chance? So again, the opportunity to work with you is what you're selling. You know, here's your chance to finally sit down with somebody who can do your taxes and keep you out of jail. Here's your chance to actually get some money and put it in your pocket, or whatever your service is. Here's the chance. Here's the opportunity. And opportunities are few and far between. So, just wanted to get that out of the way because, man, I really care. Honestly. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I care. I don't like being on the phone with people and them telling me how much money they've invested in their businesses and how they're not recouping that money. I don't like being on the phone listening to people knowing if they don't fix this problem that it's going to get worse. And when I say get worse, it's going to now start to not just impact their ability to run their business, but it's going to impact their ability to live, to put food on the table, to keep lights on, to keep their dignity. Because if you can't put food on the table and you can't keep the lights on and you constantly having to tell your kids no, and you got to keep turning people down for holiday events and things of that nature because you simply don't have the money, how's that going to play out in your mind? How's that going to make you feel? And do you really want that feeling if you could help it? What's they gonna put you in? What type of position they're gonna put you in socially? You know, to have to now answer those questions. Like, girl, I went by there the other day and y'all was closed. Girl, so what's going on with your business? You know, so what? Now you gonna be a liar? Now you gonna blame other people? Now you gonna say people don't support? It was those God. It was those friends you gave me. Because that's what most people do. They blame people. They blame circumstances. Sometimes they even fall on the sword themselves and say, "I'm just a procrastinator and I'm just lazy and I don't." And I'm not making fun of you. And I know, it may make me sound like a jerk, but I'm not making fun of you. I'm just simply saying, is this the story you want to be told about you? Or do you want to tell a story that says, "Hey, I was struggling, we weren't getting any customers. You know, I took a risk, sat down with somebody who could really tell me how to do it and was willing to show me everything that I needed to know to start turning my sales around and start getting referrals and start making money easily and quickly." And now, instead of us losing money every month, we're making money every month. We've been able to hire 2 or 3 people. Which one of those stories would you want? The one where you lose everything, or the one where you actually start to become the human being that you were meant to be, the business owner you were meant to be? Which one do you want? Dramatic pause. So now let's get on to today's business because we're at the 15-minute mark. We haven't talked about discovery calls one bit. So here's the backstory. A couple weeks ago, doing video from podcast, and discovery calls came up, and I talked about not teaching and trying to coach and train on the discovery call, and that the fastest way to lose a customer was if you started over explaining during the discovery call. So with that being said, some people reached out to me and they were like, well, I really don't understand what you mean when you say teaching on a discovery call. And I said, okay, well, I'll do another pod about discovery calls, because discovery calls, if you get them right, man, it's like shooting ducks in a barrel. Hopefully I can get away with saying shooting ducks in a barrel. But it's like, it's easy work, for lack of a better way to put it. If you can get your discovery call right, you will close probably 80 to 85% of the clients that you meet with. And not only will you close them, you'll be able to get your price. You won't have to sell on price. You won't have to discount. And it won't take all day for them to get back with you. So that's the first thing. If you get it right, if you develop the skill to be skillful in the art of discovery, it will make it easy for you to do business. Okay. Now, let's talk about why teaching on a discovery call is bad. And then we're going to get to what to do on a discovery call. But I need you to know why doing it wrong is such a problem. Because I used to do it too. This isn't something that I'm telling you guys about that I didn't do. Okay. I used to be on the discovery call giving away way too much information too. And part of it was just I wanted to be helpful. It was my ego, to be honest with you. Like, I want to help these people, so I'm going to tell them what they need to do. But if we start telling people what they need to do without them understanding the value, then it just feels like advice. And most people don't take advice. So somebody calls you, they ask a question, and then all of a sudden you spend the next 15 minutes giving away free information, giving away free game to somebody who doesn't even understand the importance of what you're telling them. So now you're in these arguments with people because they don't understand the importance of what you're saying and how what you're saying is going to affect their business. And if they don't understand how it's going to affect their business, then they don't even know how to use it. And more times than not, they're going to take that information, not use it the correct way, feel like they got something for nothing, and walk away. Like grandma used to say, why buy the cow when you could get the milk for free? Okay. So the first thing is you don't want to teach on a discovery call because people are going to take that information, take it out of context, and then go use it and fail. Then you're going to be looking like, why didn't they call me back? Then you're going to see them poorly execute something that you told them. And then they're going to say, well, what you told me didn't work. So not only do you not get a sale, now they're walking around thinking you don't know what you're doing because they took what you told them and used it, and it didn't work. But this was a discovery call, and they were just asking you a question. You hadn't had a chance to look at their books. You hadn't had a chance to look at their total operation. You hadn't had a chance to review anything. So what you gave them might not even been the right advice. Might not even be in the right direction. Now, the first thing you can do in a situation like that, when people are asking you questions, is let them talk. Because he who asks the question controls the conversation. So when you're on discovery calls and they're asking questions, you don't answer them. You just say, that's a great question. Don't answer the question. You turn it around and you answer them with a question. If somebody says, well, how much do you cost? You say, well, it depends. You say, well, and I don't really like it, depends, but in this particular case, if they lead right with price, you say, well, it all depends on what you're looking for. So before we can get to price, I need to know exactly what it is that you're trying to get accomplished. So if somebody asks you price, you say, great question. A lot of people are really concerned about price, but I can't really give you a price until I know exactly what you're looking for. So now you turn it around. Now, but ideally, you want to be the one answering the questions. You don't want to get into a situation with somebody where they're just peppering you with questions. Because the more they pepper you with questions, the more they're in control, the more they think that they know more than you, the more they think that you're not valuable. You know, so if they're peppering you with questions, you need to slow them down. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Ask them some questions so that you can then move them out of their emotional state into a more rational state, so that you can then take back authority, so that you can then take back control of the conversation. I'll say it one more time. When somebody's in a discovery call with you and they're asking a bunch of questions, catch the question, slow them down, take control of the conversation, and start asking questions. You know, if somebody asks you about price and you say, why are you trying to figure out if we're going to be within your budget? Do you have a budget? Is there a price that you had in mind? How much do you think something like this should cost? Now, I know you think if you don't answer their question, they're going to get off the phone with you. But here's the thing. If they don't answer your question, it is a huge red flag. Okay? If they're not answering your questions, if they're dodging your questions, if they're being evasive, how do you then get the information you need to help them? Now, if they don't tell you what's going on, you can't help them. So don't go forward in the call. Don't get desperate. Don't say, oh my God, I'm going to lose a customer. Because guess what? Right now, you don't have a customer. You don't. So you have nothing to lose. Okay? Because somebody who does not disclose all the information is ultimately going to get you to start working on a project that they can't pay for. Is ultimately going to put you in a position to now have to chase them around to get your money. So if they ask price, you say, are you trying to figure out if we're going to fall within your budget? Do you have a budget? How much have you set aside for a job like this? How important is price to you? Which is another great question. Okay. How important is price to you? Because what you don't want to be is you don't want to be the cheapest as a business owner. Because if you're the cheapest, now you get the people who really can't afford it. And the people who really can't afford it never pay well. You know, I always talk about going into the holidays one year and having a bunch of those kinds of clients, and everybody just decided not to pay me. Because they were out buying Christmas gifts. They were paying their light and gas. So now I'm struggling because the people who were supposed to pay me didn't pay me. But I didn't do a good job in the vetting process of figuring out that they weren't answering enough of my questions. And because they weren't answering my questions and I was so eager to get started, that I overlooked the fact that there's some red flags that says they might not pay me. So now I ask, how much have you set aside? When are you looking to get started? If you got this problem solved, what would it do for you? See, those are really good questions. When are you looking to get started? Have you set aside a budget? Another great question is, what role do you see me playing in this? Now, the role that you see me playing in this question is extremely important because that is going to now let you know exactly what they think you're about to do, or if they even know what you're supposed to be doing. You know, and they may break out some things that realistically are way above what they're willing to pay. You know, like with me, I'll give you an example. When I ask that question, I always try to tie it to money. And the reason I like to tie it to money is because money is going to change hands in order for me to do it, and money is going to be made. So again, you want to make sure that you're attaching it to money. Okay. Here's the reason you want to make sure that you're attaching the problem to money. Now, how much money would it save you if I could pick the kid up for you? How much money would it save you if I could do the following? Okay. How much time would it save you? How much is that time worth? See, now when you start putting a dollar amount on it, it makes it more tangible. If you're me and you're sitting with a client, you say, okay, well, if I could show you how to close 15% more of your leads, what would that look like in dollars? Now, for some people, 15% more of their leads might look like $100,000, depending on what they charge. 15 more customers, they're charging $10, $12, $15,000. What would that mean? If I could show you how to get 3 or 4 more customers a day, what would that look like in dollars? See, now when you start to look at it from that standpoint, okay, so you want me to help you do $150,000 more this year, and you only want to spend $500 on it. Okay, so you want me to make you $150,000, but you only want to pay me $5,000, or you only want to pay me $500, or you want me to pay, or you want to pay me $50. See, now you get to flip that and say, well, tell me how I'm supposed to do that. Love this. Shout out to Chris Voss. Chris Voss taught me this one. The how am I supposed to do that? So now when they give you the unreasonable, when you get an unreasonable response from your potential customer, you know, where they're asking for way too much, well, you tell me how I'm supposed to do that. You know, how am I supposed to make you $150,000 for $500 and feel okay about it? You know, how am I supposed to put you in a position where you can get promoted and see an additional $30,000, $40,000, but I only get to see $250,000 or $250? See, the reason you want to try to get the dollar amount is so that you can show the disparity. You know, one of my friends and clients, she's a business coach. She's helped multiple executives become presidents and multiple middle managers become directors. So you're talking about somebody who maybe was making 65. Her coaching, development, training, insight, experience put them in a position to do double that. So now somebody who was making 65 is now making 130. You know, somebody who was making 80 is now making 170. Not to mention the prestige of the title, because now they're sitting in the C-suite, or because now they're sitting in the president's office, or because now they're director or senior director. So now the value around him has moved up tremendously. So if somebody could help you make 130 and you only make 65, and they're thinking that your $3,000 is too much, now you, because you've attached a dollar amount to it, you get to then say, so you want me to help you make $70,000 or $65,000 more a year for foreseeably the next 5 to 10 years, and you want me to do it for $1,500? So over the next 3 years, you're going to see $220,000, and you think that I'm only going to charge you $300 to do it? That is why you want to put a dollar amount on it. Everything can be quantified and measured. So even if you're someone who bakes, let's use baked goods as an example. If you're someone who bakes, okay, so how much is your time worth? Is a great question when somebody's sitting across from you and they want a cake. Okay, because if they make it themselves, which is why the discovery call is so important, because now you need to discover if they can cook. So now if they can't cook, okay, so now you have to figure out how to make a cake. Number one, how much time is that going to take you? Number two, you got to go get all the ingredients. How much time is that going to take you? Then you got to come home and actually mix them up, put them in the oven. Hope you get it right on the first try, which is highly unlikely because, like you said earlier in the call, you can't cook. So you may have to buy these ingredients at least twice just to get it right. Or you could pay me. The stuff that it costs to make a cake, buying it twice is probably going to be about $100. The time it takes you to go to the grocery store after you get off work and you're tired, that's probably another 2 hours. What's those 2 hours worth? You know, tired, exhausted, kids to pick up, meals to make, house to clean, work to do for school, work to work on your real estate license or whatever. So which is why you need the discovery call, so you can discover what else they got going on. How much is that time worth to you? Would you rather spend it in the kitchen trying to figure out how to make a cake that probably won't taste anything like the one that grandma made? Or would you rather go and give me the $50-$60 and be at home working on your real estate license, putting your kids to bed, playing Candy Crush? But those ingredients, once you get them, that's the price of a cake. So might as well just pay me. Easier, faster, simpler. And right now, I have time to make that cake. In a couple weeks, I won't. See how easily you transition to the right now I have time, but in a couple weeks I won't. So if you're going to do it, we need to make sure that we get it locked in and I get that deposit from you today. Because the opportunity to have me make your cake is dwindling because we're getting closer to the holidays. You need to start looking at these interactions, because these are the interactions that are going to make you money or lose you money. Again, my clients that have adopted the strategies that I'm talking about with you right now, they don't need as many customers. Now, the reason they don't need as many customers is because they close more. So you're one person. You don't have any employees. You're posting. You're working. You're trying to have a little life on the side, maybe make some events, get a little date here and there, be a good daughter, be a good son, be a good parent, be a good spouse. Imagine if you didn't have to chase as many customers. Like, oh wow, man, I only made 3 or 4 phone calls this week. But 3 of the phone calls I made actually turned into some business. one phone call a day, one sale a day, depending on how much you you do in business per sale, could be great. You know, if I get one sale a day, man, you know how much money that could look up, that could potentially be for them and me. So again, these discovery calls are important, you know, because on a discovery call, you're trying to discover. You know, again, a great sequence of questions on a discovery call is, you know, where are you at currently? Where do you hope to be? What does it mean if you get there? How do you see me or someone like me helping you get there? So, how long have you been thinking about it? Have you put together a budget? When would you be looking to start? Those are good questions to ask because you need to know where they are. You know, right now, you know, kind of struggling, you know, a little frustrated, trying to get this thing put together. So that's where they are. I'm a little frustrated. I'm struggling, trying to figure out how to get this thing put together. That is where they are. Okay, where I like to be is I like to have everything laid out, ready to go, and not have to worry about it anymore. Now, some people call that gap selling. You know, that you're getting them from A to B. Okay, but you need to know where A is so that you can then also know how to get them to B. So now, the question now becomes, if I get you to B, why is getting to B so important? And for you at home, you need to know why getting to B is so important, because sometimes getting to B is where your real money is made. Because you find out somebody, if they get to B, then they'll be able to get promoted. If they get to B, then they'll be able to get a grant. If they get to B, they'll be able to get a contract. So now you're not getting them to B, you're getting them in a position to get this contract. And like I always say, hey man, we got to do that back of the envelope math to figure out what it's worth. Because let's say you only charge $200. But now the work you do for getting them from A to B is going to put them in position to make $150,000. So now you're not getting them to B, you're getting them in position to make $150,000. Now you're thinking you're just getting them organized, you're just getting them set up. You're like, nah, I'm getting you in position to make $150,000, and I'm not going to do it for $200. I'll use myself as an example. When I thought I was just coaching, you know, people were taking advantage of me. You know, not everybody in the beginning, people weren't, but at some point, people started realizing, hey, this guy has really unique skills, and his unique skills generate money. So now you're coming to me under the idea of I need a content guy. You're coming to me under the idea of I need a marketer. But really, in the back of your mind, you know, man, if I can get this marketing right and I get this content right, I can do 7 figures. But if the person sitting across from you doesn't realize that you're going to use their skill set to make 7 figures, then they charge you something way less than they should. You know, that's why I started charging 5 figures. You know, that's why I started wanting money on the back end. Because I know I had a unique set of skills that very few people on the planet have. And what people were doing with those skills wasn't making their website better, it was making them money. And the question became, how much money do you want to make? Because every client that I went into it with, I was trying to max them out. You know, I was like, cool. On the front end, let's create content that drives people to your website. Now that we got them to your website, man, let's close them. Okay, cool. Now that we got them, let's get them to buy again. Okay, now that we got them to buy again, man, let's see if we can't get them to shoot a commercial for us so that we can get some more people to buy. Man, Now let's offer them incentive to give us some referrals, and if the referrals close, then we'll give them an extra. Oh man, well why we got them doing this? Well, let's start another program because they got a problem with this, and if they can get this right, that'll make what they bought the first program for work 100 times better. You know? So now this isn't just content anymore. This isn't just helping you build your website, man. This is helping you build your business. You know, we're not just getting you follows and likes. Can't eat follows and likes. And for me, when I was just quote unquote marketing guy, and it's like, man, we can't eat follows and likes. I come from sales. No, we got to turn this stuff into some business. So now, my little $500 is getting you a person who is like, okay, we got to turn it into some business. But if each sale is $100, and I figured out how to get you 10 sales in the first week, and you only paid me $500, you doubled your money in a week. Now, for the next how many weeks or sessions that we have, your money's continuing to compound because you took that money and you paid somebody else probably more than me, because somebody actually did pay somebody way more than they paid me. And I was like, what the heck? To just take what I've already done and repeat it multiple times. And that's happened to me a few times. So anybody who thinks I charge too much, right, look at what you're getting out of the deal. Don't look at what is coming to me. But with that being said, I kept going above and beyond. And my above and beyond was turning into dollars. Okay. But nobody ever wants to talk about the dollars that it's generating, because they know if you figure out the dollars that you're generating for people, then you'll want to charge more money. If I go into a situation and I say, hey, man, there's some people on your staff I think we need to get rid of, that's because that's going to save you some money. So if I identify someone who doesn't need to be on your team, doesn't need to be on your boat, and it saves you $500,000 or $50,000 or $10,000, why would I do it for $50? Again, you have to discover on a discovery call what the dollar amount, what they're going to use this for, how's this going to benefit them. Because once you know what they're really using it for, what they're really using you for, you'll then better know how to charge, and you'll better know how to negotiate, and you'll better know how to stand on business. Because once we do that back of the envelope math, and we figure out, hey man, you're about to use me to get a $200,000 government contract. Now you get to walk away saying, I'm not doing it for anything less than, and I need most of that up front. Discovery gives you leverage. Discovery puts you in a position to now say, hey, you're not going to take advantage of me. Well, what would it really mean if you could bake a cake from scratch that was impressive? Oh, it would mean that everybody in the house would be happy and excited. It would mean that your mom or your mom-in-law would finally start to respect you. It would mean that your husband would finally feel vindicated for choosing you over whomever he was with before you. So your cake could turn a holiday celebration into a magic moment. Your cake could keep a marriage because now he has no reason to call whoever it was that used to make that cake for him. Now you block the door that he used to go through or somebody used to have access to him through. We not dealing no more. I just went by there because our mama made some peach cobbler. You don't need a mama to make you no more peach cobblers. I got you, buddy. So you have to understand the impact of what you're doing in its totality. What is what I'm doing allowing them to do? What are they going to use this for? Again, for my caterers out there, when you cater an event, you're a business card for the person that you're catering for. The quality of your work, the quality of your service makes them look that much more desirable to whomever is in the room that they're trying to impress. If it's set up right and they bring in some folks that are going to donate thousands of dollars, you just help them get thousands of dollars. Think about it. They bring in 4 or 5 people for a luncheon. They're looking for donations. And your servers are filling up the water glasses and taking away the plates and bringing out forks and making sure they're bringing out wet naps and making sure that they're going above and beyond for each and every person at that table, making them feel like they're a dignitary. Everybody in the line when they're picking their food up is smiling. When it's over with, they got the little bags that they're passing out, telling everybody have a nice day and thank you for coming. We really appreciate you. They're going to attribute all of that you did to the person who hosted the event. Now, the person who hosted the event didn't do nothing but pay you. But because they paid you, now when they stand up there, or now when they make their return calls and they make their follow-up calls, or when they're having drinks with these people a few weeks from now, it is your work that has paved the way for that. I always call it the I got a guy thing. Okay. Here's what the I got a guy thing means. Person tells you that they have a problem. You say, I got a guy. Person tells you they have another problem. You say, I got a guy. Then you ultimately become the person that people can go to because you're connected, because of your network. And when you're connected and you have a network that makes other people look good, that makes other people seem more successful than they really are, seem more important than they really are, people want to start using your people. No, people wanted to use me because I could make them money. So if you're having a conversation with someone who's struggling and you want to gain favor with them, you say, hey, give my guy a call. And if their guy comes through and delivers, and that person now doesn't have that pain anymore, that person now has their situation solidified, they're grateful. They say, I owe you one. So do you really want to put yourself in a position where somebody else is saying that they owe somebody other than you for your work? Discovery call. Gotta understand that part. Because if you understand it, then you know how to take advantage of it. You know how to take what's going on, what's about to be going on, and what that going on means, and then leverage it to get what you want out of the deal. And I'm only telling you this because I want to see you win. This has been another episode of, I know I'm getting off now. You're right. We're at the 49-minute mark. Hey, this has been another episode of Successful Marketing, Sales, and Relationships, where we help you sell what you make. I'm your host, best-selling author SaDon L, a.k.a. the most dangerous man in marketing, a.k.a. Mr. Better Than Your 401k. We are very close to Christmas. The opportunity to talk to me is dwindling by the minute because the closer we get, the less I can help you. So if you are at home right now and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this season needs to pan out for you, that this is the season that could put you in a position to get grant money next year, that this is the season that could put you in a position to get lines of credit, because if you have the sales over this period of time, it'll show that you're a real business and you're a real serious business owner who really could benefit from some help. Because people only want to help the people that could benefit from the help. They don't want to give money to people who ain't going to do nothing with it. So if you want to be in the category of people that they think can do something with it, then make sure you go to growingrich.com today. As always, man, I love you, and I'm out.